Good morning, everyone. Whilst we wait for everyone to arrive, I'm just going to finish setting up. Come on. There we go. Alright, let's just swap this out a bit. You can go back up a bit, I think. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, let's see how that goes. Yep, that should be fine. Good morning, Christine. Okay, let's get myself sat down. I'm going to share this to the group. That's it. Good morning, Jeanette. Good morning, Andreen. And good morning, Sue. Excellent. So, a little bit different this morning, not a Technique Tuesday. We're going to look at the latest dyes. And I know a few people were interested in knowing how to make this particular card, so here we are. Good morning, Leslie. Let's wait for a few more people before we get started. Good morning, Penny. Lovely to have you all here. Hope everyone had a lovely weekend. We had a varied time, didn't we?
Yeah. It was a great time.
Arundel Castle on Friday. Good morning, Jane, for the medieval festival and the tulip festival, which was absolutely stunning. Anyone within distance of Arundel, highly recommend that for next year.
Christine's got one.
That's fine, Christine, no worries. Okay, so this was the one I did originally for the Fancy Fold challenge. As you can see, it is a waterfall card. It is only one direction. The double one would come out this way as well. So we have our inner piece, and it opens out onto this piece, which acts as a bit of a backdrop for the front. And as you can see, we've got the cuts and the folds there, which I'm going to go through. We're making our own backing paper today with the new Heart Medley die set. Flick on my hand. And we'll also be using the Layers and Frames circle die set, the Dinky circle die set, the Perfectly Pretty stamps and dies, which I absolutely adore, and the Medley of Leaves stamp and die. So, and then I'm going to obviously use the Hazel Sentiments for the words inside. So the only stamping that I've done is with the flowers and leaves. and the rest of it is all dies. So it was a Hazel Sentiment Medley 3 and 4. Okay, so put that to one side and we'll get started. I've gone with obviously the other card went for samples, but I did the pretty pastel colours. It was a new job card, but I will take pictures of everything and pop them up later. There we go. Let's pop that there. So if we start with the actual card blanket itself, so this is an 18 by 36, which we can see there. There we go. Gonna get my scoreboard out. Crash, clatter. So we're basically going to divide this into 3. That's why the 18 by 36 is so useful, because it does divide into 3 nice and neatly. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to score at 12. Then I'm going to turn this over. Good morning, Sue. And hello to the craft workshops at the barn, which does sound absolutely blissful. And we're going to score at 24. I've turned it over because they'll be going in different directions. Okay, so that's just 3 score lines. And then we'll give that a fold. Okay, so the inside piece, we want this score line. Good morning, Gail. We want this piece to have the mounting fold, a bit sticking up, so we can fold into it. Give that a nice fold and crease. There we go. Make everything nice and neat and tidy. And then this one can come, obviously it's now got the mounting on here. And fold that away. So, okay, so we now have this piece. Now we just need to do a couple of measurements so we can cut the card down. So from this top piece, we're going to come in 5 centimeters. Just going to make a little pencil mark there, and that's going to go all the way down to here. So turning this back round again, and we want it to be 5 centimeters up from the bottom. Get that right on the very edge, because if you move it over like that, obviously it's not going to be a proper angle. And then we're just going to draw a line between both marks, just a light line like so, and that will tell us where to cut away. I'm going to cut off this crease down to the line. You can use a knife if you prefer. And then we can keep this piece of card to use. You can get some of your die cuts out of this if you want to, the bit that's left over. Handy for cutting some more sentiments out, so I'll keep that with the rest of my offcuts. Great for banners and things as well. Let's just tidy this bit up a little bit. That's better. Okay, and then if there's any pencil marks, we can get rid of those at the same time. Keep everything nice and neat and tidy. There we go. So this now gives us our card. So that's how we did that. Get another one ready, and I don't quite know why I did that because I don't need it, do I? There we go. So I've got two. I can make another one later. So that's that one. Okay. Excuse my squeaky chair. And what I've also done, I did all my die cutting first, apart from what I couldn't do until it was covered in the pattern paper. Okay, so you're going to need 3 of the scallops. Let's bring the dies in. I can show you what I used. Okay, so this is from the Dinky dies, so you need 3 of those. And the skinny frame, the smaller one of the 2 that you get in this set. On one of them I die cut from the centre, because when we're placing this back in here it makes it a lot easier to line up. So you need to keep both these bits, and then you'll need to cut 4 black skinny frames from this one. And then the layers and frames, I've used this die, the very dainty scallop die, to cut for when we get to this point. There we go. I will cover that again once we get to it. It just keeps it all the same, coordinated. Okay, and once again my feed is taking forever. Good morning, Jill. Okay, so if you're wanting to replicate this, those are the dies that I've used. I've also cut my sentiments ready from black, and then I've cut a whole array of the flowers and the leaves to use as well. We'll come on to those in a little bit as well. Okay, so the backgrounds. Got a little bit still of the paper piecing left to do. Let's bring these back in again as well. I'll just run through how I've done this. So what I did was I got a piece of A4 card, cut it in half, obviously to 2 A5s, and then using, I haven't made my storage for this yet, I need to get some more magnetic sheets actually. Keep forgetting to go, we went to the range as well. Hi Bev, that's fine. So as Julie has shown you before, and Hazel, I've literally gone across the A5 piece of card, and then I've moved this down each time, and you'll feel the very satisfying lock where it's already die cut to fit them back in again. And I did that on both pieces of A5, so that gives us the negative, if you like. So once I had done that, I trimmed this one down. This is, let me just check my measurements, 11.5 by 17.5, because that will fit in nicely with a thin border around. I cut 2 squares into 10 by 10 centimetres. Did what we're going to do next and then die cut them. So what you want to do is your piece that you've cut all the hearts out of, you want to then stick that onto something very thin, like a piece of copy paper, which I've got on the back here. Because obviously when we're going to die cut these, we want it to work as easy on our dies as possible. Once you've got it on the paper, you can then stick in your different colours. To make the colours, now look at these. These will definitely be used for something else. I could use that card blank, couldn't I, that I've got spare to make with these. I picked 8 colours and made my own sort of rainbow. Now I did these strips. These strips are, and it's super smooth card, sorry. They're 4 by 15. There we go. And I've coloured each one with Distress Oxide. Let it dry, otherwise the ink will go everywhere when you're die cutting into it. And I did exactly the same. Cut a line, moved it down, another line and another line. And that is ample. I've got some hearts left over for what we need to do. So that's three lines of the hearts in each piece. Colours I used, where did I write that down? Here, I think, so I forget. I used Worn Lipstick, Festive Berries, as I say, this is my own sort of version of a rainbow. Abandoned Coral, because I thought that might be a nice change to a really orangey orange. Fossilised Amber, Mowed Lawn, and then we've got Peacock Feathers, Broken China and Dusty Concord. I just thought they were slightly different to the usual rainbow colours. I'll use these strips later. They're not going to go to waste. Okay, and then you get all these lovely hearts. I've left some of the purple so we can stick some in. This would be great if you were making confetti or for shakers, or especially if you use the smaller dies. Hi Donna. Never mind, that's fine, don't you worry. Hope everything's okay. You never seem to go into a doctor's appointment at the right time. Okay, so let's move those out the way. I'm going to glue these ones in, then I'll trim them off. Okay, so I found it easier just to glue into where the gaps are. Got my tweezers, and then we can just literally place these into the holes. I find this very therapeutic to do.
Cost you mud.
Always like paper piecing. As I say, if you do 3 lines for this, it will be plenty. I think I had 3 of each colour left over, so that will come in handy. Oh, good to have you here, Donna. Now you can see why didn't do the whole lot because it wouldn't be very exciting, would it? If I'd made you sit through 2 pieces of A5 paper piecing.
Go on, do it.
Okay, I'll finish off this side. And obviously the direction of the colours. I've gone along one way and then brought it in coming back that way. So we've got that kind of a pattern. This is such a lovely way to use your dies. Thank you, Donna. Especially when we can extend them like we can. I'm just going to get some pressure from the back, and if we get any spills of glue I won't get it everywhere. So yeah, got a few left, got 3 left, yep. So we can keep those. I've got a little line of different coloured hearts next to me. Let's just cut this now. A little bit on this side. Just trim this up because I've already trimmed it to the right size beforehand. You can either put all your hearts in and then trim it, or cut it to size and then put the hearts in. So there we go. It's a lovely piece of backing paper. And then, like I said, I did exactly the same with the 2 pieces. Good morning, Vanessa. Oh, brilliant. Yes, yeah, we've got, oh, well, we did have, I've just looked out the window. We've got some clouds now. It was sunny. This was on a 10 by 10 piece of card. If you want to, what I found useful was I put the die on it and then just crossed out the squares that, or the hearts rather, that didn't need filling, just to save on those, and then die cut those once the glue was dry. As we know, there's no point trying to cut anything when it's damp, because it will just go all funny and smudgy and wispy. Okay, so let's get this stuck onto here. Line this up. You could give it another layer as well if you wanted to behind. I quite like the cleanness of the white on the white. Okay, turn it over again. Just give that a nice press down. Make sure we're evenly stuck. Thank you, Donna. That's it. Okay. So next we're going to add in the circle that we cut. This is going to have our sentiment on it. this one down first. Side where we're going to pop it. Okay, so think about there. Sure that's on pretty centrally. Firm that down. Get one of our black frames. Come here. A little bit of glue on here. There we go. I was actually holding my breath while I did that. And now we've got somewhere for this to butt up against. Because you're dealing with such a thin piece of card, they can wobble and go in all over the place. And you end up with a wiggly circle. You could just leave it like that actually, that looks quite pretty. Put this part back in. There we go. I'll pop in there. Everything's lined up nicely. There we go. Thank you, Jeanette. Okay, I've got some of my words cut. As it was hearts, we go with the engagement. I've got my little dot of my eye here. Been guarding that with my life. Okay, so this is going to come over a little bit, but that really does not matter. I'm going to place them on first so I know where I want them to go. A little bit. That'll be space fine. Let's get this one on first. I mean, you don't have to do as many hearts or stars or even the circles and squares to paper piece like I have. Yes, you're quite right, Vanessa. Thank you, Andreen. This in here. Excuse me while I'm getting the glue on. Try and let these fall naturally if I can. Let's get that dot in there before it goes and vanishes. Let's get your sticky picker-upper. There we go. Congratulations on your engagement. Seems to tie in nicely. You could do whatever you like, of course. Last one. And then some of these hearts that I've got left over I could add in as well. Let's see how it looks. There we go. Nicely stuck. I'll probably come in with some of the ones that are covered up underneath so we can have a nice yellow one. At the top. And a green. And another colour. Let's go with the peacock feathers one. There we go. So that's the inside part done. Okay, so the next part, we're going to use some more of our die cuts. One of those and the three, excuse my arm, the three skinny frames from black. Okay, obviously we can't glue this on entirely. I'm just going to make a mental note of where the glue is going to go. Put a rough amount on there. Yes, you could, Vanessa. That's a lovely idea. Line it up with the one that's underneath. Anywhere we need a bit more glue, we can do that now. Hi Yvonne, no problem. Any there, here, and just a bit under there as well. Keep everything nice and secure. There we go. So this is now kind of extended our card, but we've got that nice flow and the angles to it. We'll pop this bit on. This is going to pop down in the centre. Okay, adding us another nice burst of colour onto there. Then we're going to layer up our lovely black skinny frames in the circle. So I'll put one down more or less in the, what I was saying, the right place. That's the right way to say it, in the middle. And then we're going to offset the next two. Just make sure that one's stuck down okay first. I like doing this with the frames. They look quite organic when you do them like this, like woven willow or something. Okay, we have one coming off up here. Still keeping it with in that patterned circle. That's it. And then the other one. This one coming off this way, I think. It doesn't really matter, you just want that intertwined feel with it. Put that in place so that it sets properly, adheres down. That's it. Okay, and we're going to add in some of the leaves. What to say? I'm going to be using this leaf anyway, but I just thought if I cut some like silhouettes and add them into the background, it makes it gives it a nice interesting backdrop for the other flowers. Good bit of glue on here. Just put glue on the bases of the leaves. Give Vanessa, that's fine, of course you can. Okay, so I've got that original card has only got the two on, but I thought we'd go with 4, make it special. They look great, don't they, as silhouettes, Jeanette? It really makes a difference, especially when we put something in front of them as well. We manipulate this one. I know it doesn't go kind of the other way, but we can make it appear as though it is. Just hold it in place until it takes. I mean, the glue that I use is pretty good at sticking straight away. Another one for this side. It's also quite nice for, thank you Jeanette, for the recipient of the card, because it gives them something to look at when it's opened up, when it's stood up. Thank you, Caroline. that way. That should be fine. Hold this in place. There we go. So the next piece, our front, which is probably the most important. We're going to build up our floral scene. You can add as many or as little as you like for this. That's entirely up to you. Thank you, Andreen. So, again, going to layer these up for our focal point. There. Some glue on the bottom, and we can add some more in. Quite central. And again, we'll flip it over and add in any glue where it's needed, just to keep everything safe and secure. Especially important with that's okay, that side, that's good. Cards that are kinetic, if you like, that are going to move about. Pop this bit on. Over again, make sure that's nicely stuck. Okay, let's look at the flowers. So I've more or less copied what I showed you first off. I've got added in a few more extras though. I've gone ahead and coloured some already. I've got some leaves to colour as well, and I've literally just gone round and coloured along where the line is, just to give it a different look and keep that nice whiteness as well. Done exactly the same with the leaves. I've used the same colours that I used to colour the hearts, so we'll just do that on the little leaves, which, as I said, it's the same as the black ones. Very fine water brush. I'm going to use the mowed lawn because I used all the other colours on the other parts. Squish this down onto the block. Oh, this chair's squeaky today. Okay.
Chinese.
Yeah, probably. Right, I'm just going to come in. Just around the outside. When we did this the last time, we blended it, but I thought we'd just keep the lines this time, just for something different. There you've got options. It's always nice to have different ways of colouring. I'll bring this up and show you in a moment. Literally just following on the inside of the stamped line, and these were all, as we've done before, die cut and then stamped using the waste to stamp into to line up, so it makes it easier. This is where I have to wait for my feed to catch up for what seems like a million years. Yep, there we go. It just makes something a bit different. Get the others done as well. It really doesn't matter how you colour them. You could keep them black and white if you really wanted to. That always looks stunning, doesn't it? Especially if you've got a nice colourful background. I think it's nice, especially when we're creating our own backgrounds. We can then make sure that the colours are going to completely match. Nothing's going to be out of place. Last few. You notice I haven't added any water to the oxide, I've just gone straight in. Thank you, Donna. Gives it a completely different look, and it's especially I think this time of year it's nice and fresh and clean. Okay. Clean the brush off on my hand. To one side, let's wipe this off before I put my elbow in it, because that's typical me. There we go. So these are all coloured with exactly the same inks that we use to make the hearts. Now, I'll start in the middle. I have gone around some of these already and cut into them, so it makes it easier to shape. Just going to lift each one. I'm going in the middle, quite into this at the moment. The pokey tool underneath, straight down and over. This flower really does remind me of Art Nouveau. Okay. Bit of glue in the middle. Placed up here. That's really going to stand out against the black leaves we've put in the background there. And we'll just layer this up, do the same with this one. This time I'm going to bring the pokey tool on the front, down the centre and curl upwards. And these are all done onto white super smooth. They're going to hold the shape nicely. Offset this one down. If you want to, you can use a poker tool, or ideally a ball tool is better. Just to make sure that's stuck and you haven't got any sharp points going into it. And we've got this one. I'll curl this over on the ends. This is a lovely way of creating our own flowers. Put that in there. Oh, glad to have helped, Donna. Hope you get back into the swing of things. And then this little one. Just bending over right on the edges. Way up to everyone else that way. Hold that down, just make sure it sticks. Because we've built so many up, there's quite a lot of dampness in the centre there. Just to make sure it sticks okay. And that's it. We'll come on to the ones either side. I've cut down in between, but I've managed to keep the little stamens on. Looks quite pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this in, tuck it under a little bit, decide where we want that one to come in. There, so we're creating a little arc as well with these. Both at the same time. Bit more glue. We've got that pretty equal either side. Yep, I think that looks okay. And this time I might do these down the centre instead. The background is paper pieced, Vanessa. It's the show you. It's the heart die. I used 2 bits of A5 and die cut each line on both of them. Cut this one down to size, and for the circles it was 2 squares 10 by 10. Then I did the same again with, where are my strips? Here. Did different strips in the different colours. Did 3 lines on each to get the different colours of the hearts. Popped them onto some copy paper and filled it in. You are welcome. You could make yourself a stencil from the die. I'm just a bit mad in that I like paper piecing.
It's just mad with paper piecing.
Put these down. I'm literally just lifting each one up. And to give it a different look, I thought I'd go under in the middle again. That way, I think. Hold that in place. And then our little yellow ones for the centres. With the left, yes. Haven't really thought about it yet, Penny, so I'll be I'll be interested. I've got a few ideas whirling round. We shall see. In here, very dinky. Could do all this with just the leaves, I guess. That would look pretty good. You could actually make some flowers up from the hearts themselves, especially with the larger dies you get in the set.
I was just going to say, the one woman doing it with little ones.
That would be something. Crease them down the centres and stick them together that way. That would look lovely. Okay, now we've got our leaves to pop in. Okay. Just going to shape a few of these. Just a little bit. Not too much, just to give it a bit of movement. Okay, so I might need to chop the bottoms off some of them. Yeah, it's gonna need pruning. I'm just going to add some glue in to the bottom. Push that in. Let's come in, open it up, come in from the back, just push down, make sure that's stuck. We can have this one. Keep that full on that one, I think. It can have a bit more height to it. Open that up. Wipe off any glue if we don't need it on them. And then we want one coming across the bottom as well. Once you add the leaves onto anything, that's what really makes it. Let's take a bit of that off.
So,
Add these in where I think. Don't worry, Jean, that's fine. We want to move them over, so we've got the flower over the top of the leaf as well. And then we've got these to add in over the top. Just leave these as they are. Just come in over the top of the leaves we've already stuck down. Going that way, I think. Doesn't have to be the same every time. Once everything's dry, you can always check in, see if you want to put any more glue on anything. And the final one. That's it. Okay, then if you wanted to, you could add in some glossies to the centres. Finish that off nicely. You could use some stickles, some of the little hearts. If you were feeling really bold, you could die cut some of those and pop them into the centres. Let's move these out of the way. Okay, so here is our finished card. So we've got that side. Thank you, Donna. No, I mean this is the third one I've done now, and I'm obsessed with it actually.
The blooming full, my girl.
So we had the star version, which I did for samples. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Penny. And the original, which I did with backing paper. Thank you, Sue. And then this piece. And then finally the inside. It's a bit difficult to show. I will take some photographs though. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Caroline. You can see, because I can't really show you it standing up, but you get the gist. Thank you, Sue. Oh. So yeah, please give this a try. I can't wait to see what variations you come up with. Post them onto the Crafty Friends group.
Andrew.
Thank you, Andreen. Thank you, Gail. You're all very welcome. Okay, so let's pop that one there. We'll bring the original one in here. So similar but different. You're very welcome, Jeanette. Thank you so much for your company this morning. I will get taking pictures of these. Do something with my leftovers. Thank you all so much. It's been lovely. Yeah, so I've got lots of little hearts at the side here. I won't pick them up because they'll go everywhere. So yeah, in a fortnight, we'll be back to Technique Tuesday, and definitely using some old hardback books. And I mean old. I mean they're nothing expensive, or they're just, you know, finds that you can pick up, because hardback books don't get recycled. Why? I have absolutely no idea. Paperbacks you can put in the recycling, but hardbacks you can't. So it just seems a crying shame that they end up going to landfill when we can make them into something pretty. So yeah, everyone who's gonna catch up again, enjoy, and yeah, I shall see you all in a fortnight. Have a great week, everybody. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.